Lovely to see everyone today. I am Goddess Blondie PC. I love. That over there is Spike, but it's daytime, so she's sleeping. Anyway, our goal today is to make one of these. It took me about 2 weeks to engineer originally back in December of 2025. I could never remember what year we're in. Goes like that. For my best friend, of course, I added ribbon so that like you could tie it in the back. But I couldn't just make one for my bestie and figure out how to make it and then not have one myself. You know what I mean? So I just made one without the ribbon. And that's what I'm going to teach us how to do today. It's so cute. I love it. Original design that I made. It goes, as you can see right there, king, queen, jack, and then 10, 9, blah, 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 to ace. So this one is like a full, it's been a while since I played any card games, but you know, it's like the whole 13 card. The one that I'm going to be making today is a little different. It's of course going to look like this in the end, but I'm going to try and alter the cards, and I'm going to take advantage of the backs of the card, which I didn't do at all in my original design. Somebody commented on my TikTok and was like, tutorial? And I was like, oh my goodness, only because you asked. Absolutely, I will get to it right away. First time it was a little difficult, but to be fair, it was when I created it. So anytime you create something, the first time is always going to be the hardest. First, I will show you some materials. Please pause to read. Of course, playing cards. Essential. Hair ties. Essential. All of this is essential. Okay. So you can sub some things, of course. However, these are the stupidly skinny hair ties. I have one of these things. This is also a part of the list of things that you need, which I'm not completely certain of what this is called. It says it right there, babe. It says sewing and knitting gauge. However, what's important is that this has a little hole right there and this gauge right here. Because for us to get the right holes in all of our cards, we will be using some type of hole punch. But we want everything to be symmetrical. And as you can see here, every single one of these cards has something else on it. And you want to make sure you put the hole in the same spot in all of them. So therefore, this right here, major important, and some type of felt tip marker. And that's what you're going to use in that hole right there on the cards. There are 2 different measurements in order to get this. Next in the list of tools that you need to complete this accomplishment is, of course, thread. If you want it to disappear into the collar like mine did, I used white. That's just white thread. This is Coates and Clark metallic. Actually, this is silver. I retract my statement. It is silver. You'll need a sewing needle. It doesn't need to be thin. You can use a fat boy. You can use a leather needle. I'm pretty sure that's the one that I'm using somewhere around here. Here it is. A big needle. Because you're going to be going through like 4 cards at a time. I'm not even kidding. And you want it to go straight. You don't want to la la la. No, you want to go boom. Right through it. Okay. Of course, you'll need some little scissors to cut your thread. And I believe that's everything. So let's get started. It's important every single step gets taken with intention. Because, as you can see here, symmetry does absolutely elevate this. For reference, this is what we want. Or at least the vibe that we created originally. And then you're able to go like this for your cosplay or your costume. Queen of the Hearts, or a Jester, or a Joker. And again, once you have actual ribbon, you can like make sure this stands up straight, like it does here, right? Or you can have it lay flat. Oh, so pretty. I'm so proud of myself. Let's get started. The first step, you get your cards. you open up your cards and you pick out what kind you want your collar to look like. Do you want 13 diamonds? So you want the king through the ace, and just like I did here? Or do you want them to exchange back and forth? Lay them out. You have your cards, right? I'm going to show you some examples. I'm going to show you how to do it right first, and then I'm going to show you why, okay? You're just going to, I guess I'll show you this side, right? That's much more beautiful, right? Very easily. Okay, yeah. Hold that thought, okay? You're going to take your hair tie. 1, 2. You're going to make that X, okay? And now it just looks like a teardrop. Make sure you flatten out the edges so that when this stands up, it's all even on each side. I personally am a little bit of a perfectionist, so every time I do this X, I go through and I go like, obviously not in this formation, I'm usually like this, but I make sure the X opens as far as it can. Of course, it's going to settle a little bit, right? But I make sure it's more in the center and expand it. Something I've noticed is unfortunately one side will be open a little bit while the other isn't. It's okay, it's okay. It doesn't need to be perfect, okay? And once you've got this like this, you need to sit it for a couple hours. Like when you're curling your hair and it's like heatless curls. This, unfortunately, will need to sit on my desk for several hours. When I first did this, I did it overnight. So right in front of me, I literally have so many cards set up like this, okay? That's the first stage. You go through all your cards and you set them up like this with a hair tie to each card, okay? Now I'm going to show you why. If you just try to hold it like this, it's going to keep bouncing back. And all the steps, we're going to end up, this is 2 cards right here. If you try to do this, oh, that broke so fast. I didn't even try to do that. But yeah, now that's done for. That's not going to give us the shape that we want. If you try to bend it back, it's going to have that crease in there, and that's ugly as hell, right? We don't have any creases here. So we don't want to break it or bend it. We want to just gently fold it, put it in a hair tie so that it forms that shape until we move on to the next step. Once again, I'm going to show you guys, and this is what it looks like when you do bad. Not good. When you just bloop. Correct way. Card. A gentle little fold. Taking a hair tie. Go like this. Once. Again, we're not creating a crease. And twice. Making an X. With this X, we want to flatten out the sides. Bop, bop, bop. We want to expand our X in the center. Let it retract. And now we have a nice little teardrop. Here's another one. Flat, crisp, beautiful. We're going to go ahead and give it a little, just a little. We're going to take a thin hair tie. And honestly, it doesn't matter if it's this way or that way. You just need to make sure you're comfortable enough to not bend it and spin that hair tie around to give it that X. Oh, look how off-centered that is. We need to pull that back center, pull that X out, and go like that. It's still not center in my opinion. Like that. And again, set it off to the side. Now that you've done that several times and you have lots of them like here. Oh! I hope somebody laughed. That was hilarious. I didn't intend to do that. Anyways. Red, 5, black, 4, red, Don't you dare fall down. These are all in stage 1. I've folded them once, put a hair tie around it twice, and they've sat for several hours. Now they move on to stage 2. After you have all of these beautiful, wonderful things in front of me, you're going to move on to step 2, which is combining them. You're going to take a pair, which is a top and the bottom of the next one. For example, it would be this 8 right here and this one under here. All right. You'll have, so it'll be the one that faces on this side and the one that faces on this side. Yeah? This, and like this, and like this, and like this. So let's start all the way over here. Grab our first 2, and they look like this, right? Interchange into each other. Put one in this hand, put one right here. Pull off that hair tie, throw it to the side. It's gonna go into this one, move it over here. Take this hair tie and hold on to it. And put this into here, this into here. And then we're gonna close them together. We're gonna close them together. Do it a few more times for you guys. Hair tie once, hair tie twice, all the way around them. Again, flatten it out so that therefore it's even. This is an excellent example. This one's just red, and this one is an ace. Right there. Okay. When you set up how you want this to look, and you start folding them, make sure you have them in order. They were in order for the past week. Anyways, so you have a red, and then you have your ace. For example, if you're starting it like regular. These are going to end up looking like this. They're going to go into each other, okay? And the reason why you're keeping these intact is because when you start taking these off, they're going to start bouncing everywhere whenever you have them in line in front of you. So first and foremost, these are going to be set up like teardrops like that. I'm going to show you. You're going to take off this hair tie. And this one's been sitting for a while, so it's got that shape, right? Nice. And then you're going to take this hair tie. For whatever reason, this one's not as bent as this one. But they're going to go into each other like this. Can you see it? Like this or like this. However you want to start it. And then you're going to put them in close together. Make them a little sandwich. And you put the hair tie back on. Another X, gently. Just like that. And again, give them a little squish. Make sure everything's in the right size. And now there should be an A here. Blank here, obviously. Flip it over. And now this one's red. So now, obviously, the opposite of the character is where we're going to put our holes. Okay? Again, keep things organized and set them up in the order. And we're going to start putting them in line. So this is the start of ours. It'll probably go like this. Little A on the side. And then you don't really need to sit this overnight or anything. This is where it needs to be. Got all of these to do. And I'm going to do them with you to prove it. Okay. This one I'm going to slow down again. So you guys can kind of see. You're going to take the first one. So I kind of like doing them in pairs. Because if you're doing the ace through the king, you can do it in pairs like this. So you take your heart, your red, that you decide is going to be the beginning. Okay. And you're going to, and it's an 8. An 8. So you're going to, it should be in line right next to it, but in case it's not. So you take your 8 of hearts. Your 8 of spades. And they're going to, instead of them being like this to create like a peacock pattern, instead they're going to be flipped over, teardrop to teardrop. Take off the first hair tie. Toss it to the side. So what we're doing right now is we made a very long pile of all these guys. And now what we're doing is we're going to put it in half. We're going to make it go in half. I did that backwards, didn't I? Nope, it's fine. La 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 la. And then you keep going. And basically what that one pile you made is going to be in half. And they're going to be put together. So you already have the shape that you need. Already started. Dun 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 dun. So this one I just pulled off the hair tie, and as you can see, it's got its shape quite well. Excellent, excellent. We're gonna take the next one. Slide them in. Finish off the last one. As you know, we started with kings. Now we're at the aces. La la la. Lovely. And then it should go right there. So now we had all those everywhere, and now they're down to just these. Next is punching the holes. That's not true. You're gonna mark the holes. You're gonna pull out your handy dandy sewing and knitting gauge. This lovely friend. As I mentioned earlier, there will be 2 different spots, right? We have that in our little sandwich. There's a king and the red. Obviously, the king is going to be on the outside, so the holes are going to be on the inside for when we're going to sew. We're going to take our gauge, the one with a little hole right here. You see that? Right there. Let's see. Should be right there. Perfect. So I was right. It's a 1/2 inch and a 1 1/4. So let me see if I can set this up for you. You're always going to have, again, character facing up, holes going down. And this is the flat edge, okay, of the card that we're looking at, not the curved one. You'll understand when you're doing it. So this one is flat right here. So wherever the flat corner is, that's where we're going to put against this blue line right here, the gauge that we're going to measure. So for this outer corner right here, this outer dot, it's going to be at that 1 1/4. And it's just going to go right there. There. Let me see. This line right here is going to be lined up with the card, as you can see here. So then that hole's right there, right? That's that 1 1/4. And then you put it on a 1/4 inch, and it's going to end up right there. Again, ready? Blue line right there. Slide it down. Make sure it's the bottom of the card, and it'll be right there. And now there's those 2 holes. But as you can see here, that's just this side. So then you're going to flip it over. You're going to find the hard edge, the right edge, right? And then you're going to do it again and again. So therefore, you're going to end up having 4 black dots that you'd mark on here. Right here, I have 2 armrests that are made with rice in them. I just kind of squish them together so that this is kind of floating a little bit. And then this right here, my little gauge, I make sure it's lined up because unfortunately this does move rather easily. I make sure it's good. And then I rest it on here so that they're the same height. Let me pull this in a little closer. right? So I don't really have to do this balancing act that I was showing you. So then it kind of just rests there. So then I rest it like this, put the blue against there, line it against that line, find my Sharpie, and then I just mark it. Double check it. 1 1/4. Move it to 1/4. Line it up. Give it a little pinchy pinch. Sharpie. Boom. 2 holes right there. Go in and I give it a little pinch. Make sure, make sure it doesn't go anywhere. Take that off. Again, you have this one at 1 1/4. Line up this blue line with this hard edge right here. This is the straight edge. Put the blue line on that straight edge. You line it down. And you want this line down here. And point at it with this. You want this line right here. This line. To line up with the bottom of the card. So line it down with the bottom of the card. Now we've got another 2 holes. Well, black dots, I suppose. Now we're going to take our hole punch, which I suppose you can use a regular hole punch, but I just happen to have a leather punch, and I use the smallest one, which I'm pretty sure is an 1/8. You're going to go over that little black dot. You're going to line it up with the smallest one. And go over the hole. Give it a good boop. So there's that hole there. Go like this. Give it a good squeeze. I think I grit my teeth a little hard on that one. And then just use a little something or the other to push out the holes. We do have to finish this side. So you do one side, and then you do the other side. And then, after you've done this to all of your little sets, you will have, if you are doing a regular collar like the one that I made originally, where it goes ace through king, it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 stacks, obviously. Me and math aren't friends. That's probably why it took me 2 weeks to engineer this. Shh. Anyways, so you'll have 13 of these little things, which I got them set up for you. Ace, jack. Let's let aces out. Queen. Okay. There's one more stack over there. And then we're gonna start sewing, everybody. String might last a little long. But we did start late. Okay. So we've got all holes, so that's at least on the right track. Ace, jack, queen, king. Then our joker. Perfect. Now that we have them all set up in their groups and everything, now we're going to need to flip them over so that we can easily sew through them. After you have them all set up, it is time to start sewing. But you can't very well start sewing without needle and thread. So I recommend you get a piece of thread and you pull it the full arm span. Full arm span, and then do it again. Boom. And then you tie it off here and cut it. Then you have 2 arm spans lengths of thread, fold it in half. So then you have 1 arm's length of thread that is technically a big U. Now that you have that, take the U part of that thread, which is the middle, right? And then you're going to stick it into your thread. Stick it into your needle. And once you've stuck it into your needle and you pulled it all the way through, and you tied it, then it should be about this long, right? Should be about one wingspan, half a wingspan. But at the end of your knot, you should have a hoop, and then you should have a really big knot because you did it like 4 times, right? It doesn't matter if you follow the directions that I just gave you, but you need a piece of string and thread that goes all the way around your neck and more, because this is going to go weaving in and out and shit. And you want it to be strong, okay? Strong. All right, first step, we're going to flip these over so the holes are facing the sky. Easy for us to touch. Alexa, stop. Now, we are going to start it, which means the ends of it. As you can see here, the ends are very, very strong. They have to be. Otherwise, how is it going to keep the close-knit shape? At the end, after you put all of these on the thread, you gotta pull this so that it creates that harmonious, tight accordion. If you're gonna pull it tight, the starting point all the way over here, it needs to be secure. Okay? Let's go ahead and pull things off to the side so that I don't get overwhelmed. We're going to grab our first 2, which is a joker and an ace. We're going to make sure our beautifulness is down and our holes are up. I'll be honest with you, it's been 8 months since I've done this step, so bear with me. I apologize, but I'm pretty sure we keep them in their hair ties. It depends on skill. That's right. If you feel you have enough skill to take them out of their hair ties and then go ahead and do that, then go ahead, which I'm going to do. But if you don't feel confident, leave them in the hair ties and sacrifice them later. I'm not going to do that. Because if you sacrifice the hair ties, they will all be like this. They'll all just be close together, right? They won't necessarily be intertwined. And I want them to be intertwined. So, this is when detail comes into play. We need to watch them, make sure nothing pops out of place because they have been sitting for days. Okay? Let's start with this one. Open sesame. Remove the hair tie, but keep it in its place. See, it's already wanting to jump. Keep that still. Open these up. And what we're going to do is we're going to slide these into this one. Just like that. Now that you have the first set like this, we're going to start with our thread. Grab the ends. And as I mentioned, there should be a halfway mark, right? We're going to open it up. And this is what we're going to use to anchor it, so it doesn't go anywhere, okay? So we're going to start on the inside of this one. So therefore, our holes, hopefully, our knots will disappear. And it'll make it nice and tight. Go right here. This one to this one, straight across. Hold everything still. Ooh, see how everything wants to move around? Be careful. There's just one piece of string that's being a hoe. Thank you. And then we're going to go straight through the middle of this guy. Somewhere. Right here. And by doing this, will allow us to anchor not necessarily all the way at the end, but hopefully hidden on the inside. So now we're not going to stop here. Now we're going to secure this edge to right here. So it's going to go like this. And then this one goes to this one. This you might have to go up and down a little bit for instead of straight across. So this one you go in here. And then you're going to go this way. Ooh. There we go. Everything's looking fine and dandy just a little bit. Pull it in a little closer. By doing this, it's going to attach itself. See that? It's already closing. So we can go ahead and start our pattern because it looks like it's exactly where it needs to be. But because I don't trust it, we're going to secure it now. We're going to remember everything goes right here, hopefully. Pull it nice and taut, and we're going to tie it up on this side. Right here. All we're doing is making a knot right here and keeping it real nice and tight. See what that did? That made it hard. I know that's not going to be really easy to follow, but hopefully this got it real well. Next, easy. Easier than that. Now we're just going to feed it through everything that we've set up for ourselves. So let's go ahead and put that back where it belongs like that. Oh, you're supposed to have 2 sets of needles. I forgot about that. That's important, you guys. I found a needle. Give me 1 second. Because you're supposed to go across and across. Technically, we can just hide it in here. So let's do that. Bam, 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 bam. There we go. Oopsies. Now that's just kind of looped in there, but we should secure it. So that's what I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna go behind the back. Oopsies, come here. And then I'm gonna loop it in there. Oops, not quite. Almost. Doesn't seem to love that, so I say we do it one more time, just for good measure. Go through both. And through the center. And pull it tight. Okay. We can always go back and do the threads later, but I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Because at least I can see it and I won't forget about it. Okay. Now then, let's keep going. Top thread goes through the top holes. Bottom thread goes through the bottom holes. Let's get to it. Let's start with the bottom since I've already started with the top. Let's add some stability. This one goes here, this one goes here, and then it goes through this one. And since we don't want to break any of our cards, we'll go ahead and go like that. And we'll stop there. Because remember, we're going to put in another set as well. Oh gosh. Let's take this one. And we're going to keep adding little sets of cards. This one goes through here, goes through here, goes through here, and goes out and above. Let's move that over. Let's grab our next set. Pretty sure it's this one. Okay, we're going to take this off, slide it in. We'll accept it. This one goes like this. Let's pull this one. Come here, you. Go through this one and this one and this one. This one and this one and this one. Oopsies. Oopsies. It can be really finicky. And then these go through these two. So right now I'm not making any knots, I'm just feeding it through them all. And when you tighten them a little bit, you can start to see the shape. Let's move it over. Grab the next one. Slide it in. Oh, I didn't push out the hole on this one, so it's making it hard for me. And if you're not confident doing 4 holes at a time, which I don't think anybody is, right? Then just do 2 at a time. I'm just gonna keep going on this process. I think I might have gone a step too far with that one, but it's okay. Move it over. We can always easily correct at this stage. I definitely added an extra card in here, but that just makes it special, right? Whatever. Ace, Jack, Queen. You guys just see that, but I have a bunch of other things happening over here. All the faces, because I want to make sure I'm doing it right. Oopsies. Calm down. Honestly, I feel like my thread's already too short. To be fair, I did add a lot more cards than what I used the first time, which is gonna be unfortunate, but I guess it doesn't matter. All that matters is I show you a finished product. Yeah, this is feeling a little funky, but it's fine. Just stop acting up. See, everything wants to jumble and move. It's very annoying. Come on, you hoe. Get in there. Where is that? That's also why I recommend keeping them in the hair ties till you get to this point at least. Because, they can get really messed up. Man, my thread seems so small. I'm so pissed off. After the first like 5, you can really get into a rhythm with it. And like knowing where everything goes and not having to stress about like it coming completely undone because you have it secured on the end. Boom, baby. Okay. I'm gonna keep going till I run out of thread. And once I run out of thread, I'm gonna just call the collar and then I'm gonna tie it up. Because it doesn't need perfect, I just need to show you what you need to do. I really wanted to finish this, but lesson learned, I suppose, for anyone watching the tutorial. Make sure your thread's longer than you expected, even when you thought it was as long as it needed to be. Even when you thought it was already outrageously long. You guys, I missed a hole. Shut the front door. I missed a hole at the beginning. I totally did. No wonder it's being a hoe. Shit. Well. Fuck. I have to rethread all of this. And I believe in myself. We'll see what happens. From all mistakes, we learn. Absolutely. During this time lapse, it is proven that if you feel like just doing the top thread and then doing the bottom, that is definitely an option, since that's basically what I end up doing here when I have to go back all the way to the beginning and redo it. But it was super easy, as I showed here in the time lapse. It just takes a little bit of focus. Of the 4 suits, spades, hearts, diamonds, and clubs, which one is your favorite? If you're still here, please comment below. All love, all love. And then we're gonna tighten them up real good. After you've added your desired amount of cards, you're gonna go ahead and do a single like knot. You just, loop it. This allows you to, whenever you give it a good tightened pull, that at the very least you can continuously hold your grip. Right now is the perfect time to make minor adjustments, make sure everything is exactly where it should be,
kind of scooting everything a little closer together before we do another really good pull. This step, unfortunately, is very finicky. I'm not really concerned about the cards or their strength. I'm more worried about creating that curve of the collar.
You're already doing it. Why are you doing this? Oh, I think I broke something. Oh, gosh. Honestly, as long as it goes around your neck, you're good. But I feel like it's just not tight enough yet. But this should be good, and I will adjust it later.
In all honesty, the final securing knot while keeping everything squished together is probably the hardest step, and you could use a second set of hands, but you got it.
Okay, let's adjust this a bit. All I've done is tied one knot, but let's try and move them over a little bit. See how this bit is still a little flappy while this side is secured, so we need to tie it down. Look where all that thread came from. Put that through here. Put that through here. Okay, now let's just tie these two together to be safe. Let's cut the thread. Oops. Anyways. And there we go. Now we have one that says Joker on each side. All red on one side. And then a bunch of suits. Thanks so much for being here. Here is the one we had before, the one we made today. Before, today. Let's put this one on. La la la. Let's flip it over so you can see what it looks like if it's just the backs of cards, right? So if all you had are non-facing cards and you just want it to be just red, just the backs of cards, it looks good too. Remember, this is just how to create the collar. The next step is optional, which is to glue in some ribbon, maybe some cardboard, up to you. I just used ribbon, or whenever my best friend tied it around her neck with wire, it was soft and comfortable and beautiful. Up to you though. Ribbon and securing to your neck is up to everybody, because maybe you don't want ribbon. Maybe you just want to tie it with the thread. Up to you. If y'all don't feel like going through this whole process, you could DM me on TikTok or email me at craftywithalittlemagik@gmail.com. Regardless, thanks so much for being here, being a part of the DIY. I appreciate it, and I love